Please be seated. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a wonderful morning I bid to you, ladies and gentlemen. Praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have been graced by this opportunity to gather in this momentous ceremony. Greetings to our guests for today's event, Professor Dr. Wan Sabri bin Wan Yusof, Vice Chancellor of Universiti Sultan Azlan Shah, Professor Dr. Muhammad Azmi bin Omar, President of the International Council of Islamic Finance Educators, ICFI, and also the President and Chief Executive Officer of the International Center for Education in Islamic Finance, Universiti in SIF. Professor Dr. Hamid Kamil bin Maidin Mera, Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs, Mr. Makhtar bin Abdullah, Chief Executive Officer of Association of Sharia Advisors in Islamic Finance Malaysia, USAS, Mr. Muhammad Razwan bin Muhammad, Chief Executive Officer of Malaysian Takaful Association, MTA, and Datuk Muhammad Akhir bin Haji Yusof, General Manager of Universiti Sultan Azlan Shah. Honorable guests, directors, deans, head of departments, lecturers, students, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to USAS Takaful Repository launching ceremony. Before we go further, let us begin our ceremony with the recitation of dua by Ustaz Saiful Ammar. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Ya Karim, Ya Wadud, kami merafakkan kesyukuran di atas keizinanmu untuk kami berkumpul di sini di dalam majlis pelancaran USAS Takaful Repository. Kami juga bersyukur kerana Engkau mengizinkan kami menghadirkan diri, emosi dan roh kami sehingga dapat menimba ilmu-Mu yang luas pada hari ini. Mudah-mudahan majlis yang diadakan ini akan mendatangkan keberkatan kepada kami. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, jadikanlah ilmu yang kami perolehi sebagai ilmu yang bermanfaat, ilmu yang penuh berkat dan dijadikan sebagai pemangkin kepada umat. Jadikanlah kami orang yang paling kehadapan dalam membela agama-Mu, mempertahankan nasib bangsa dan memperjuangkan kedaulatan negara. Ya Munzilar Rahmat wa Ya Fatihal Barakat, Engkau pelihara dan lindungilah dengan sepenuh riayah dan pemeliharaan ke atas kami. Semoga sentiasa dalam keadaan sihat sejahtera, aman dan bahagia selamanya. Kurniakanlah taufik dan hidayah kepada kami agar dapat mendapat kejayaan dan kecemerlangan di dunia dan akhirat. Berkatilah usaha dan sumbangan kami di dunia ini. Ya Allah, Ya Qadiyal Hajat, tanamkanlah sifat-sifat terpuji dalam diri kami agar budaya kerja berkualiti menjadi amalan kami dan supaya kami sentiasa berusaha melakukan penambahbaikan dalam kerja seharian demi kemajuan organisasi, masyarakat, agama dan negara. Engkau sematkanlah ke dalam diri kami, Ya Allah, rasa tanggungjawab atas setiap tugas yang diamanahkan kepada kami untuk dilaksanakan. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'alillahumma fina wa la ma'ana wa la man yatba'una syaqiyan wa la matrudan wa la mahruma. Allahumma ja'al khaira a'marina akhirahu wa khaira a'malina khawatimahu wa khaira ayyamina yawma nalqaka fih. Allahumma ighfir lana dhunubana wa li ikhwanina alladhina sabaquna bil iman wa la taj'al fi qulubina ghillan lil ladzina amanu rabbana innaka raufur rahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you, Ustaz, for the dua recitation just now. Ladies and gentlemen, let us start off with a slideshow depicting the journey of USAS Takaful Academy. Thank you for the presentation. Without further ado, I welcome Professor Datuk Dr. Wan Sabri bin Wan Yusof, Vice Chancellor of Universiti Sultan Azlan Shah, to deliver his opening remarks. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin wa bihi nasta'in wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Alhamdulillah, we are able to gather in this hall this morning. My respected Professor Dato' Ma'azmi bin Umar, he's one of our teacher in IIUM. Once you're a student forever. So, and my colleague, Professor Dato' Ahmad Kamil, J. Radwan bin Muhammad, Chief Executive Officer, Malaysia Takaful Association, and a good friend, J. Makhtar, Chief Executive Officer for Association of Sharia Advisors, Islamic Finance Malaysia. Deans and head department, distinguished guests, and respected speakers, USAS community, staff and students. It is really great pleasure and honor that I stand before you today as we gather to mark significant milestones in the world of Islamic finance, especially in Takaful today. The launch of USAS Takaful Repository represents a pivotal moment, not only for our institution, but for the broader Islamic finance landscape and the community that we serve. Takaful rooted in the principle of mutual assistance and solidarity, has emerged as beacons of ethical finance, offering an alternative model that resonate with the values of fairness, transparency, and inclusivity. The establishment of this repository as a product of the Takaful or USAS Takaful Academy, and with the trust from FWD Takaful, is a testament to our commitment to advancing these ideals and fostering innovations in the realms of Islamic finance, specifically in Takaful. From the very inception of this endeavor, at the FWD Takaful Chief Distribution Officer, Cik Wan Muhammad Najib, Wan Ahmad Lutfi, and Director of Distribution Transformation, Cik Wan Intan Suhaila, binti Wan Ahmad Ridwan, believe in our vision and demonstrated unwavering support. FWD Takaful commitment in making a positive impact in our community has been nothing short of inspiring. Through their generous financial support, they have empowered us to turn our dreams into reality. FWD Takaful dedication to promoting a more inclusive and sustainable future is evident in their actions. They have not only provided us with a means to bring this project to fruition, but have also been a source of guidance and encouragement throughout the entire process. It is often said that true partnership are forged in shared values and mutual commitment to a greater purpose. In this regard, FWD Takaful has been an exemplary partner. Their belief in the potential of USAS Takaful Academy has served as a driving force, motivating us to overcome challenges and strive for excellence in every aspect. The impact of FWD Takaful contribution extend far beyond the financial realms. It symbolizes a belief in USAS Takaful Academy missions, a belief in the positive change we aspire to bring about, and a belief in the potentials of our community to strive and to prosper. As we move forward, we do so with a profound sense of responsibility and determination to make the most of this opportunity. We are committed to ensure that every resources provided by our donors is utilized effectively and efficiently, maximizing the benefit of all stakeholders involved. USAS Takaful repository, as we're going to launch today, meticulously crafted through collaborative effort, will serve as a hub of knowledge, research, and insight, promoting a deeper understanding of Takaful principles, practices, and their implications on the global economic stage. It will be a dynamic platform engaging scholars, practitioners, and policymakers alike to enrich our collective understanding and facilitate the growth of these vital sectors of Islamic finance. As we embark on this journey, we acknowledge the invaluable contributions of all those who have worked tirelessly to bring this repository to fruition. Their dedications and expertise have been instrumental in shaping these invaluable resources. I extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed partners, especially FWD Takaful, whose unwavering support has made this initiative possible. I would also like to thank INSEF and MTA and also USAS for their willingness to collaborate with USAS Takaful Academy in future projects related to Takaful. Together, we are poised to make a lasting impact on the landscape of ethical finance, not only in our immediate community, but a global scale. In conclusion, let us look ahead with optimism and determination. For this repository is not just a repository of knowledge, but a repository of hopes, of progress, and of future, where Islamic finance stands at the forefront of economic development. On behalf of the university, I again like to record our appreciation for our partners from INSEF, from MTA, from ASAS, and also from UUM coming all the way from the north of the country, coming and join us for our launching of repository today. With that, I thank you. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor, for the opening remarks. Let us move on by welcoming Dr. Musliza binti Musa, Director of USAS Takaful Academy, to talk about the introduction of USAS Takaful Repository. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Dato Dr. Wan Sabri Wan Yusof, Vice Chancellor of Universiti Sultan Azlan Shah. Professor Dato Dr. Ahmad Kamil bin Maidin Mira, Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs. Dato Muhammad Ahir bin Haji Yusuf, General Manager of USAS Berhad. Professor Dato Dr. Muhammad Azmi bin Omar, President of International Council of Islamic Finance Educators, ICFE, and President and Chief Executive Officer of INSEF University. Encik Muhammad Razwan bin Muhammad, Chief Executive Officer, Malaysian Takaful Association. Encik Mahtar bin Abdullah, Chief Executive Officer, Association of Shariah Advisors in Islamic Finance, Malaysia, ASAS. Directors, deans, heads of departments, our honorable guests, lecturers, and students. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all. Today marks a momentous occasion as we gather here to inaugurate the USAS Takaful Repository. It is with great pride and excitement that we at USAS Takaful Academy welcome you to this monumental venture in the world of Takaful. Before I go on to talk about the repository, let me briefly introduce you to the USAS Takaful Academy. The USAS Takaful Academy was established on the 30th July 2021 through the granting of an RM 10 million endowment from FWD Takaful Berhad to the Universiti Sultan Azlan Shah. The primary objective of the endowment is for USAS to set up the USAS Takaful Academy and sustain its operations and activities for the long term and, where possible, in perpetuity. Among the key persons that have been the backbone for the USAS Takaful Academy is FWD Takaful's Chief Distribution Officer, Encik Wan Ahmad Najib Wan Ahmad Lutfi, and Director of Distribution Transformation, Cik Wan Intan Suhaila Wan Ahmad Rizwan. We truly appreciate your trust and confidence with USAS in making the USAS Takaful Academy a success. The establishment of this academy represents a significant milestone in our shared commitment to advancing the principles of ethical finance and mutual cooperation. Takaful, rooted in the tenets of Islamic law, embodies a spirit of unity, shared responsibility, and collective well-being. It is a system that transcends the boundaries of conventional finance, offering a model that is both robust and ethically grounded. The 6 key initiatives of the USAS Takaful Academy are: number 1, as a research center; number 2, building talents for tomorrow; number 3, upscaling professionalism; number 4, industrial collaboration; number 5, as a Takaful think tank; number 6, building Takaful leaders. Thus, the launch of this USAS Takaful repository is in line with the key initiative number 1, which is to create a research repository by collating Takaful-related intellectual materials into a single database. This repository has been built by the USAS Takaful Academy, UTA, as a one-stop center for all things Takaful-related. It will be the first of its kind in the world, as no such repository exists currently. The repository will cater to students, academicians, researchers of Takaful, the Takaful industry, and also to the general public who has any interest on Takaful. Among the objectives of the USAS Takaful repository are, as an open access and knowledge sharing, to ensure that knowledge is freely available to the global academic community and the public. Number 2, as preservation and for long-term access. The UTR will in some ways or another preserve intellectual capital for future generations. Number 3, research visibility and impact. Researchers will benefit from broader exposure and increased engagement with their work. Number 4, collaboration and interdisciplinary work. The UTR will serve as platforms for connecting researchers across various fields, facilitating interdisciplinary research and problem solving. Number 5, as a UTA branding and showcasing excellence. The UTR will provide a comprehensive view of UTA institutions' research capabilities, expertise, and scholarly contributions. The USAS Takaful repository will have a comprehensive collection of resources focused on Takaful, which is based on the principles of mutual contribution, cooperation, and shared responsibility. This repository offers a wide range of materials, including articles, books, case studies, and educational content pertaining to Takaful operations, regulatory frameworks, and best practices within the Islamic finance industry. It serves as a valuable hub for both beginners and experts in Takaful, aiming to enhance understanding and promote knowledge sharing within this specialized field. Do explore and utilize this repository to deepen your insights into Takaful and its significance in the world of Islamic finance. In the spirit of Takaful, let us pledge to support one another in this learning endeavor. Let us foster an environment of respect, curiosity, and mutual growth. Together, we have the potential to shape the future of Islamic finance, ensuring that it aligns with the principles of justice, inclusivity, and sustainability. To all who have contributed to the making of this repository, we extend our deepest gratitude. Your vision and dedication have paved the way for a brighter future in Islamic finance, specifically in the field of Takaful. With that, I thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for the introduction. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we welcome our speaker for the keynote speech, allow me to briefly introduce his background. He is the member, Board of Directors of ISM, Insurance Services Malaysia Berhad, and has worked with numerous companies such as Prudential RBSN Takaful, Great Eastern Group, Great Eastern Takaful, and also Malaysian Takaful Association. And with that, we welcome Mr. Wan Ahmad Najib bin Wan Ahmad Lotfi, Chief Distribution Officer of FWD Takaful Berhad, to deliver his keynote speech. Please welcome.
وعلى أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Pertamanya bersyukur kita kehadrat Allah SWT di atas nikmat yang telah diberikan kepada kita, dan semoga dengannya kita menguatkan iman kita menjadi hamba-Nya yang lebih baik. Kita juga ambil kesempatan ini untuk mendoakan saudara-saudara kita yang sedang melalui dugaan yang sangat berat di Palestin. Semoga Allah membantu mereka dalam usaha untuk mempertahankan apa yang berhak bagi mereka. Kembali kepada apa yang kita lihat, apa untuk kita pertahankan dalam diri kita, antaranya adalah mempertahankan apa yang penting bagi keluarga kita yang dekat dengan kita. Dan itu kembali kepada apa yang kita bincangkan atau apa yang saya ingin perkatakan, iaitu berkenaan dengan takaful. Takaful sebenarnya bukanlah satu kewajipan bagi semua. Tapi kalau kita lihat dalam konteks Islam, membayar hutang itu wajib, memberi nafkah itu wajib, dan lebih baik tidak meninggalkan keluarga dalam keadaan meminta-minta. Seperti yang ternyata di dalam hadis Rasulullah SAW dari Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas radhiyallahu anhu, Rasulullah SAW bersabda, sesungguhnya meninggalkan waris dalam keadaan kaya lebih baik dari meninggalkan mereka dalam keadaan kemiskinan dan meminta-minta kepada manusia. Hadis riwayat Muslim. Melihat kepentingan takaful ini, sendiri mendorong FDRI Takaful untuk bekerjasama dengan Universiti Sultan Azlan Shah USAS menjadikan UTA sebagai research center yang mampu memberikan manfaat kepada semua lapisan masyarakat. Dan melalui hasrat ini, hasrat kita, hasillah UTA Repository yang menyediakan platform kepada semua untuk mengakses research, artikel dan lain-lain berkenaan dengan takaful secara talian atau digital. UTA Repository juga diharapkan dapat membantu industri takaful berkembang melalui idea dan solusi bernas kepada permasalahan yang dihadapi terutamanya di Malaysia, dan insya-Allah kalau ada rezeki yang lebih, kualiti yang kena jauh kepada global. Dengan ini saya mewakili FDRI Takaful ingin mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih dan juga tahniah kepada UTA dan pihak-pihak yang terbabit secara langsung atau tidak langsung untuk pencapaian pada hari ini. Semoga urusan berjalan dengan lancar dan diberkati Allah SWT dalam usaha kita untuk menghidupkan niat atau objektif sebenar UTA. Dan ini dilancarkan sehingga apa yang ada pada kita hari ini adalah amanah yang akan dilindung dan dihitung pada hari kemudian. All the best to the team. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir, for the insights. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our speaker for our next session has more than 20 years of experiences in the financial sector, insurance and reinsurance, broking, consulting, and adjusting. He is a certified professional in Islamic finance, an associate of the Institute Risk Management, Enterprise Risk Professional Certification, and is an alumnus of the Glasgow Caledonian University, Scotland. Therefore, for our executive talk session, please welcome Mr. Muhammad Razwan Mohammed, Chief Executive Officer of Malaysian Takaful Association, MTA, to give a talk on Takaful Industry Strategic Direction.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi israh li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and very good morning and prayer for our brother and sister in Palestine. Prof. Dr. Wan Sabri, Prof. Datuk Dr. Ahmad Kamil, Encik Datuk Muhammad Akhir, Prof. Datuk Muhammad Zain, Mama Azmi, Encik Makta, Directors, Dean, Head of Department, our honorable guests, lecturers, and my beloved student. It's nice to be in this very nice auditorium of USAS. This is, even though I just stay like a 30-kilometer away, so that's my hometown, Taiping. This is the first time I footstep in this USAS, right? So it's very nice university. I kind of regret not to send my daughter here, but anyway, it's just a joke. Okay, so anyway, originally I've been asked to talk about this need for on-demand Takaful products. If you take a ChatGPT, 15 minutes, maybe a few hours of research, you done deal with that particular topic. So today, I'm going to deliver you a topic which, if you ask ChatGPT, the answer would be, I have no repository on that data. That would be something on the strategic direction of the Takaful industry for the next few years. So as we know, basically, Takaful industry have been existed for how long? Take a guess. Next year we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary. Okay, sometime in November. There is a lot of khilaf in terms of when. I thought it's last year or this year. You know, like basically they said no, because of the Gregorian calendar, it's actually next year. Okay, I celebrate it, you know, much earlier. That's why you see in my card I have like 40 years anniversary card. Now I take that out, and MTA is basically 20 years after that. It's a brainchild of, well, somebody that is also from Taiping, which is Datuk Amanuddin Mat Desa, together with the CEO then of Takaful Malaysia. Suddenly it slipped my mind, basically, and the CEO of Etika, then is Maybank Takaful. Again, it slipped my mind, right? But anyway, no, but I can't remember Datuk Amin because, you know, I'm very close with him, coming from the same hometown, working together in Takaful National. And when Dr. Professor Wan basically mentioned and say very highly with regards to FWD in this contribution to make the whole thing reality, I was there with FWD Takaful. As a matter of fact, I can basically, you know, like vouch that is one of the thing that make us at FWD also proud in terms of being able to brainchild something that is technically ahead of time. So this basically, the Takaful Academy is something that is ahead of time then. Because why? If, let's say, eventually, how will I move the slide? I just say next or something like that? Okay. So if you can see, maybe you can go to the next slide. A few slides. Again, more, yes, lagi. I think this is a general slide that I normally do. Okay, one more slide. Okay, let's start here first. So when I joined MTA last year, one thing that I realized is that for the past 40 years, when the industry have been developed, we have been developed as an alternative to the conventional finance, right? So when there's nothing wrong with that, basically being in a predominantly Malay Muslim majority country, that is something that is obvious that the country or the government need to do. However, how about the direction? You know, when you go through, what you have is basically as an inspiration, and what you also have is a target that being set, which is, if I'm not mistaken, in 2005, when the government come out, or Bank Negara come out with financial sector master plan, the target is to achieve a 20% market share by 2010, right? 15 years later, we still don't get the 20%. As a matter of fact, it's only last year that we achieved 23%. Prior to COVID, it's lingering, it's hovering between 19 to 18. So it seems that it's very difficult for the Takaful industry to bridge this 20% gap that we have, right? And during COVID, orang kata there is a hikmah behind orang kata all things. There is a lot of awareness that being created on the need for protection, particularly Takaful. So for the period of orang kata apa 2020, especially 2021, the growth of Takaful industry is on orang kata double digit, 30%. As compared to the peers, which is the conventional, that is below 10%, other area is also negative. So there is a lot of potential. And if, let's say, I refer to the presentation that we have yesterday from the general Takaful operator, the growth is triple digit. I thought he is asleep in the tongue, basically. Triple digit, that is 100 over. Yes, 239% growth in some of the classes of the general Takaful. So awareness is coming, and with that basically come, the momentum to push the industry. Now, as I mentioned, what I saw, rightly or wrongly, is that the industry is lack in terms of the direction, the strategic direction, that way they are going. We just exist as an alternative, right? I mean, to make it even worse, I mean, for family Takaful is kind of okay, right? To make it even worse, if you talk about a general Takaful, this is really a jungle where they just go and compete, right? So this year, what we do is that we pull everyone together. Let's work on something. Last year, actually. And what we have, we started with a vision, okay? We inspire to achieve this new Takaful landscape that create value to the country, to the community, as well as to the industry, in line with the principle of Maqasid Syariah. This vision is actually a very concise summary of what VBIT is all about. Please raise your hand if they say you know what is VBIT. Okay, maybe a few. And then if you have read VBIT cover to cover, most probably I'm also like read it, like speed reading it, right? So, but that is the document when I'm being approached to join the association, right? That makes me compelled or attracted to join what the so-called association. I come from a corporate world. 25 years, doing risk management, risk engineering, as briefly mentioned. I round the whole circle of the insurance and Takaful, from the Takaful, reinsurance, Takaful insurance, broker, adjuster, advisor, you name it. I'm also a board of the Lembaga Zakat Selangor. So I've done almost everything. Being in the association sounds so boring, right? However, with this VBIT, I saw that there is a lot of things that I can contribute to the country. Most probably, if we combine the age of 2/3 from the back row until this one, and then the last 1/3 here, most probably maybe the same, or maybe lesser on the other side. I've never seen this kind of document being produced before, right? So what we did at the association is that we turned this aspiration, so-called, because orang kata apa, VBIT ni just aspiration. We talk about the big thing, want to serve, create value and everything, but then how? We have the why there, and the how part and the what we need to do part is something that is lacking. So last year we had produced what we call a VBIT roadmap. A very structured step-by-step in terms of how we're going to achieve this particular aspiration. Aspiration, if we don't basically document it and come up with a strategy and plan to achieve it, it's just a dream. It's good to have a dream. In fact, yesterday I have a dream kind of talk to because depend on the occasion, you want to basically aspire by telling them about your dream. But in this case, 40 years after we being established, and we still become very difficult to breach the 20%, a plan is needed, right? A plan is needed. So last year we come out with a VBIT roadmap. All these things that I mentioned is available in our website, which is takaful4all.org. 4 is the number 4, yeah? Yeah, okay. So in between, there is something very important that is happening in Malaysia. Okay, this one I really want to see a raise of hand or not. Anyone aware about financial sector blueprint? I'm looking at the student side now because I know this side definitely they will know. All right. Now, adik-adik, financial sector blueprint ni for the finance industry, something like rancangan Malaysia ke, depends lah kan, okay. So it's like rancangan Malaysia is the most single important document that being produced by Bank Negara with aspiration from MOF, right? If you don't have anything and if you are not into reading novel or anything like that, please read that, because dalam this financial sector blueprint, basically you have the aspiration, not only aspiration, the target that the Malaysian or Malaysia, orang kata Islam company, financial industry in Malaysia is heading for the next 4 years. Yeah, because it's FSB 2026. Dalam tu, basically they did mention about how we want to actually meet our target of orang kata apa, of our economic target. That's number one. Number two is talking about, you know, giving a financial resilience, okay, to the whole country, right? Number three is about digitization. Number four is about sustainability and green economy. And number five, which is very unique to Islamic finance in Malaysia, is that we want to promote advanced leadership in Islamic finance to the world. These five actually, you know, number two is the one that take the biggest real estate in everything that this particular financial sector blueprint have. And one specific area that bertepatan with today's basically team of USAS coming out with this Takaful repository is what's called Future Skill Framework. Okay, so I think ChatGPT tak ada lagi this information, but anyway, you can try Google. But better still, you go and download the financial sector blueprint and read it. You have it at MTA. So Future Skill Framework is about preparing Malaysia to the aspiration that we have. Future Skill Framework is about looking at what is the next kind of competency that is required in order to push Malaysia to the next level. And not only that, it's also look into whatever gap that we have currently to achieve that. Now it's talk about your future job skill and employment. And in the aspiration is this framework is that you will be able to see the vertical path. Kalau let's say, you know, you join in operation, then you want to go up in underwriting, in claim, and then you so on and so forth, it will show you your vertical path. And it will also show you the horizontal path, meaning to say, if you want to switch from marketing, the technical to become marketing, you know, or business or whatsoever, you know, horizontally, you'll be able to do that. But off script. Okay. So don't really go to the next slide. Better still. Okay, this is our member. Next slide. Okay. It's okay then. No, it's okay. Just maintain it there. So basically, I'm talking about this financial future skill framework, right? So this future skill framework ni is rangka kerja masa hadapan. Is telling everyone that involved in industry what kind of talent that we are needed. And in order to develop talent, first what you need to have an education to audits lah. And which is why I think basically with this repository that being built, all right, okay, it will help quite significantly in terms of preparing us for that. And with that, basically, I congratulate USAS for taking the first step or the very advanced step on that. Okay, now let's do my slide now because everyone is looking at the slides, right? So this is the industry lah. I mean, the only thing I like to see here in this one is that the car and the people is almost the same number. Yeah, it can be visible here also. You can see the student park their car until the hujung jalan lah, basically. But this is our statistic lah. But when I present this, basically, I just want to show the kind of a general related industry statistic, okay, which everyone know. Can you go to the next slide, please? Okay. Now, just a very quick one, the one that I mentioned just now, how we are performing. Next slide. So for family Takaful, next slide, please. So for family Takaful, you can see that the penetration rate that we have is about 19.5%, right? And this 19.5% is indeed just for the Takaful loan, right? And the contribution size basically is about 44%. Meaning to say, we really do attract a quality business, coming to the Takaful industry. And there is also a lot of other number there. And what you can see is that, can you go to the next slide? So, the general Takaful. So what you can see that our family Takaful ni, I'm very sure everyone know, okay? But most probably not everyone know where the word family come from. Maybe later on, we can have like any one of the, I also wonder, but I have a myth. People are saying that the first product that being sold by Takaful Malaysia cover the whole family, which is why they call it family Takaful. It's still a myth, don't take my word, okay? And then general Takaful. Again, general Takaful performance as at quarter 2, 2023. Next slide, please. This is the real performer after COVID. General Takaful industry is the real performer after COVID. Yeah? After COVID, you can see that their penetration, the contribution market share is about 20%. So combine these two, based on Bank Negara statistic last year, the combined market share for Takaful for the first time breached 20%. Since it's been hovering between 18 to 19 for the longest time I can remember. For the first time, it breached the 20%, but not at 20.1 or 20.2 or 20.3, it's 23%. So meaning to say there is basically a leap in terms of the demand on this, right? You can see that. Next slide, please. Next slide, okay. So yeah, this is the 40 years journey that we have, the one that I mentioned much earlier. Started, like 1984. Yesterday, when I heard one of the guys say 1983, most probably that is the ideation part. Like the Prof. Dr. Wan mentioned, like the thing that is coming here, the ideation is happening way before, basically. And I'm proud to be part of FWD team then, basically looking into all this. Takaful Malaysia come after the same years, and we have 3 other Takafuls, like Takaful National, MNI Takaful. If you're old enough, you will know MNI Takaful. They're very strong here in Perak, basically. And also Takaful Ikhlas. After 2013, then we have the rest. Now we have 11 family Takaful, 4 general Takaful, and also 3 re-Takaful, plus 1, because the one is still under application to join the association. So soon it will be 4 re-Takaful. So the market is growing. The problem with the industry for the past 40 years is the problem of being small. We don't have enough capacity to support the growth. But now, at the rate of performance I showed before, just now, especially untuk adik-adik ni, do be attracted about this industry, right? Because this industry, despite the turbulence that we have, is still growing, and is growing, in the pace that very good. As even compared to the conventional. Next slide will be interesting. Now, this is what we are talking about. So, as I mentioned, for the past 40 years, we exist just an alternative. From last year to this year, we come out with something called Islah 23. My mandate when I joined the MTA is to transform the industry. I told my members, you were there, been playing, inside within this game for a long time. How can an outsider, quote unquote, like me come and transform you? But what you need to do is to reform yourself first. Only when we are ready, then we transform. Therefore, we have this Islah 23 being developed. We want to increase the visibility. We want to basically improve our business practices, operational efficiency, and also what we call sustainability. Not so much of the eco, green, or ESG kind of sustainability, meaning to say the sustainability in our approach. So that particular Islah have been presented quite recently in our board, and we have achieved over and over above the target that we set. And now I say to the industry, we are ready for transformation. And trust me, the industry now are ready for transformation. And you will be, most probably when you graduate later on, I did ask just now, okay, who are the students here, right? Assuming that most of you coming from either finance or management, chances are, right? Or even, you are in the engineering, I myself is like half engineers, okay? So be excited about what it comes moving forward. We are not jumping into the industry that is stagnant, that is not growing, and that is not interesting, right? So from 2024 onward, what do we have? If let's say we have complete our Islah, then in 2024 to 2027, we plan to embark on the biggest strategic plan that the Takaful industry ever embarked, called Hijrah 27. Hijrah 27 is the transformation plan that the industry is waiting, basically, to change with one single target to achieve the 51% market share by 2027. It's a very tall order. I mean, definitely there's a lot of challenge, right? So coming from the risk management fraternity, I'm 20 years doing risk management. There's no such thing as a big problem, and there is no problem without a solution. Even in Surah also it is mentioned, in every problem there is a solution, and there is always a solution. And I've seen throughout my career how problem being solved when you try to think differently and thinking outside the box. Apa Einstein cakap about, doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for the same result, that's equal to insanity. Insanity is, doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for the same result. We have to change, we have to do things differently. So Hijrah 27 is about doing things differently. Now, even when we start to gear up for Hijrah, we already seen the result. Takaful is the most searched word as studied by Bank Negara, as confirmed by Bank Negara, because I can say, I have to say like that because Bank Negara normally they don't reveal their source, okay? So they said to us in front of our board that Takaful is the most searched word, according to Bank Negara. Takaful fare over and above both conventional general and conventional life in customer satisfaction survey. Of top 5 companies that are performing, which before this, none of the Takaful is there, even in the list. Now we have 2 Takaful companies ranking top 5 of the whole industry combined. And you can see the numbers. The numbers are heading toward that. The challenge will be family, because family is bigger. For general, if they decide not to do anything, just let it flow like that, they will achieve 37% by 2027 by not doing anything, because the pace is that. That is how good the growth is in the industry. But we give them a challenge. Let's do something to basically intercept that and make it 50% by 2027. So general, we are on the right direction. Actually, this slide, the other slide yang kita hide, we even count and actually we have this industry dashboard, right, that we developed at MTA. that show where we are with regards to our yearly target and also with regards to our long-term target of 51%. So not everyone is aware. The power of knowing is that it will push you towards the same direction. Now what I can say now is that the industry is actually heading toward the same direction. You know what is the problem with the Muslim Ummah? Because we always berpecah. If let's say we work together, we are strong. And that's what is being demonstrated by, kata apa? By the, I mean, is there a timer like 10 minutes? You know, because I don't know where to stop. Okay, right? So, okay. So, if we are together, we are strong. We command about 30% of market share for motor, right? And for fire also, we have a good market share. Yesterday we have this, for the first time, since the existence of the industry, for the first time, a formal gathering between broker and the Takaful industry, because the broker industry want to know where is the direction. Somehow their radar, has thinking that this is the industry that we should not forget. You know what? How much is the contribution of broker right now for the Takaful? 2%. Out of 15% contribution that they contribute to the whole industry, only 2%, less than 2% actually, goes to Takaful. But yesterday, we have this meeting because they want to know about this exciting, exciting direction that the industry is going. That by itself tells, because these people, they broker mean broker, kalau kita broker kereta, broker tanah, broker whatever macam-macam kan. So kan, it's about money. When they smell the money is there, basically, they will put their interest. And we get that yesterday. I have one member that being ringed by their punya head office in Zurich. Well, obviously the name also is Zurich lah kan. Not good at orang kata apa, keeping secret, right? Okay. They said, what is happening in Malaysia? Because India, monitoring radar, there's something about Takaful is happening. So that is basically is happening, right? And inshallah, for me, 2027, 51% is not impossible. And of course, basically, in order to do that, the whole ecosystem must work. That is the trick here, basically. We've seen Indonesia, the biggest Muslim population country, their penetration is less than 10%. Takaful or Sharia insurancy is still an option that conveniently they say that I will go for conventional because near to my house or whatsoever. All right. Iran now, basically, we're being invited to go there to share our experience over there. They want to convert to Takaful, even though the insurance that they have, quote unquote, is almost Islamic already, but they want to do a proper Takaful over there. We receive a lot of requests from a lot of African countries. You know that Africa is basically the emerging economy, now that they are basically settling down all the differences. So all this, they are looking at Islamic finance. And the best part that I heard is that we don't talk about sustainability ESG because we were a sustainability and ESG, since the inception of it. We are very aligned with this new topic of sustainability. So technically now people are seeing the beauty as well as the strength of Islamic finance. And therefore, as I mentioned, the ecosystem must be able to support that. We have the industry at the first level. And then we have the related industry, like for example, we have Takaful, and then at the second level we have Islamic Bank and so on and so forth. This is where the third level we have this learning institution, or the learning institution at the second level. That's how important the learning institution in supporting the whole ecosystem. Because without the resource, we have been having this problem since forever. There is not enough resource to support the industry growing need. Encik Makta can basically vouch on this. We have less number of scholars as compared to the scholar needed. That is scholar alone. I'm not talking about the secretariat, the other officers kind of thing. So we need that. And I like the title of this today event called Empowering. What was that? Yeah, Empowering Takaful Mind. In fact, we have been using the word empowering, and me closely working with Makta and one of the consultant Big Four in KL, we try to empower our Sharia people to make them to become the like of Ibn Sina, you know. They are doctor, at the same time they are ulama, and you know, to make them well-versed, because we know that in order for us to move forward, we need people. So hopefully today, all right, hopefully today, we will be able to get more from this day one to join in industry, because Encik Makta is complaining there's a lot of graduate, but then none, I mean, very little of them end up in the financial institution, right? Wherever that they go, I have no idea, we have no idea, but yeah, they are not, basically. What I'm telling is that the industry is going through a very drastic, or I would say radical transformation, and we will make sure that happens, basically. And what you can expect is that by the time you graduates, maybe 2 years' time, you will see a very vibrant industry already. And for the today launching of the repository will be something that is, last time it just become, by the way, you know, we have this, now it's become a necessity that the industry is needed. Because according to the academic world, Takaful is the least research area in Islamic finance. You have a lot of research in Sukuk, a lot of research in Islamic bank and so on and so forth, but not Takaful. However, if you say you again, I'm very prone into this AI thing now. ChatGPT, very nice, no, best companion that I have now, because very orang kata jujur lah in the answer. Okay, so if you Google, if you search the word micro takaful, micro insurance will crop up in almost all area. Forget the micro part, the protection, the insurance and takaful, or I whispered to the governor recently, can we start calling it takaful and insurance rather than insurance and takaful? Put the takaful in front, okay? So that we can psychologically say that takaful is important. Now, it's basically the thing that the world need in order to address a lot of things that is mentioned in the Sustainability Development Goal, ESG, Principle of Sustainable Insurance, and so on and so forth. So that is a little bit in terms of where we are heading, basically, right? And I honestly want to know what time I should stop. 10:30, so I have 15 minutes. 15 minutes, right? Okay. Now, actually, it can be very interesting if Encik Wan Najib himself is here, because he will take the microphone and go everywhere. So that is Mr. Wan Najib that we know. Basically, we work together and we know the kind of mindset that we have. At FWD, basically, the thinking is to change about what people think about Takaful. We have been ingrained in those that is coming from FWD. We have to change the perception. Now, today, I want to change your perception about the industry, right? That this industry is stagnant, that there is other industry that is interesting and more rewarding. Trust me, those people that in the Takaful industry kind of better paid compared to the conventional, basically, because we are new. That's number one, and we are growing. That's number two. I have a lot of comment from non-Muslim agent. You know that as of now, there'll be one statistic there, but it's okay. So many slides. The number of TBE registration, meaning to say those people that taking the exam, as well as agent registration, is on the positive. Last year, because of the opening of endemic and everything, they dropped sekejap sikit. Tapi this year is positive as of September. Meaning to say there's a lot of interest. Just to give you one idea, that number that we have last year is double than the number that we have in 2018. In 2018, there's only 25,000 people basically taking the exam 24, okay, taking the exam and also become an agent roughly. The year before, 2021, we have almost 40 something, close to 50,000. So to have the even 1% increase this year is a success by itself, meaning to say there's a lot of interest in becoming in the industry. And a lot of that number coming from non-Muslim. The one that contributed to the positive growth of the agent registration, because we see a lot of conversion of conventional agent to have either dual license for family or or multiple principal for general, meaning to say they want to be able to sell takaful as well. There's no problem of selling barang halal by non-Muslim. The problem is Muslim jual barang haram. Nah kan? I mean, as simple as that lah. So I've seen also agent, Chinese agent, 70% of his portfolio come from takaful. So there is a lot of interest. So now, for everyone in this room, I'm not saying that become an agent, no. I'm saying that the industry is vibrant, the industry is growing, and with this Hijrah 27, you will be able to see, hopefully, inshallah, a much more interesting thing happening. Okay, so should I open for question and answer or what? I think better lah, because I tengok dalam agenda tu, it should be this my time. Any question? Also from the front lah, kalau let's say you want to ask. We have 10 or 11 minutes for that. Please take this opportunity, because why? Yeah, who? I can. Okay. No, actually, macam I cakap tadi, when this idea of this Takaful Academy ni, I was there in FWD. The idea of collaboration to given already. In fact, we have started sebenarnya. So in fact, we have started where we want to work. We were talking about this, development and competency pathway for quote unquote waktu tu agent lah. Okay, now we go beyond agent. Mana dia? Development and competency password for agent and also those personnel in the industry. We are talking then, before even financial, before even future skill framework, we are talking about how people can go up from one level to another, and then eventually reaching the ultimate orang kata ni lah. If let's say in conventional they have FMII, I myself is FMII, fellow in Malaysian Insurance Institute. Why don't we have a fellow, for example? Yes, we have SIF, or where you have this Chartered Institute of Islamic Finance, right? But that is like more skewed toward learning kind of thing. But the street smart kind of thing, that is what we want created. And of course, very soon we will have our e-learning management system, and definitely, there's a lot of opportunity to collaborate with learning institution to either provide the content or even provide the courses for those that are interested in this area. Because at the end of the day, in my 20 years in managing risks in a lot of company, I become very restless if the company is calm and peaceful, no problem. I would jump to another company just to find problem to solve. The key solution for all the problem is people. The key solution of all the problem, which is why I'm very confident for the past 40 years we are not able to go half to whatever my target is. I can give this another push to the next level, because the trick is to change the people. Now, MTA ni dia macam budak sekolah tau, kita ada report card, right? In 2021, in 2021 kita punya score is 6.4. Not over 10, itu index. Score is 6.4 over 100. Kalau kata adik-adik, atau adik-adik you all bawa balik report card tunjuk matematik dapat 7 lah per 100. Ini pergi sekolah ni tulis nama ke main ke apa ni kan? For example lah kan. 7 per 100, that is our score. 1 year after that, last year 97. Over 100. So simple, change the people mindset, and you'll be able to achieve a lot of things. Any other question? I have like maybe 7 minutes here. I'm also the mentor for financial. Okay, future. The question is, if let's say we want to do the research, what will be the priority of the research that are going to contribute greatly to Takaful industry, no? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Perhaps my answer, perhaps, okay, when I basically decide to join in MTA, right? And being coming from the risk management fraternity, okay, one of the tools that I normally use would be the SWOT analysis, right? That's where when you analyze things, right? And when you look at the products, when you look at the services, you see that the product and the services, as well, even the pricing of the Takaful, we are at par already, sometimes even better. And bukan sometimes even better, most of the time it's better. If you compare apple to apple, like for example, conventional and Takaful product with the same price, but you can see the benefit is more on the Takaful side. Even, you want to do a test after this, apa yang ada motor kereta tu, dia pernah guna bijak, for example, try. And you will see the top 3, most of the time is the Takaful. So price, product, and also services, we are the same. In terms of people, yeah, there are some area that sometimes intentionally, they don't go in. This is maybe one of the opportunity, because there are some area that Takaful don't go in because we don't have enough capability to underwrite that business. I think that's the excuse, because most of the Takaful people that I know are coming from conventional. So it's just an excuse, actually. Potentially it's a business direction, right? So, but this is something that strategic trust number 1. What I do basically, I dissect the whole financial sector blueprint, and for example, and split it into 11 work group. And instead of the association ourselves running that work group, I make sure that all the CEO are the one that championing it, because you get the things done when you get the CEO to become the nikan. One of the things maybe that I can say doctor can actually look at is that the scope of each work group, because this work group have been refined in such a way that it's look in a very specific area, and potentially the research can look into any specific area that this work group is looking at. There's 1 work group for strategic trust 1, 5 work group for strategic trust 2, 2 work group for the 3, 4. So we got the 1 work group, and then the 2 for the last one. Each and every work group try to look into one area that can strengthen the industry. Potentially, that is my general answer. And finally, coming back to the question, the third one, what are the area? I think what is lacking for the industry is awareness and visibility. In fact, that's what we did last year. Increase the awareness, increase the visibility, and alhamdulillah we see the need. So with regards to, I baru je ada this one discussion about nak buat PhD kan. Obviously, so obviously if you look into the specific objective of this work group, I can basically pass you the area, the scope of each work group. Then potentially you'll be able to see the kind of topic that may be interesting to them. No, because as I understand, tajuk is very important. Sometimes tahun tak lepas tajuk tu saja kan. Okay, so yeah. But financial sector blueprint, WBIT, and maybe you want to do your PhD on the Hijrah 27. You know, this one crazy guy go and actually to MTA and start to take industry growth as his KPI. First time, I'm using the industry KPI as my KPI. None of the association CEO dare to do that. You have any control over the growth of the industry? You don't. But that's the challenge, basically. I know this trick because when it's called trick, kan? When I was a CRO in a company, I took my CEO KPI as my KPI. As simple as that. My KPI is not only reporting, my KPI is not only compliance, my KPI is the growth of the industry. So if my KPI is the growth of the industry and I'm wearing the risk hat, obviously I will make sure that it will grow sustainably. Similarly, if we are the association and we take the growth industry as our KPI, we will do what is needed for industry to grow. As simple as that. Okay, Mr. Moderator? 2 minutes. Student, I want to hear the question for the student. I nak bagi tahu, I mentor for bukan any bintang or whatever, for the future skill framework. So anyone want to ask about that ataupun about your anything lah. 2 minutes and the time is running. Come, bila cakap ni lecturer nampak ada brownie point kat situ.
Bahasa Melayu pun boleh?
Boleh, no problem. Melayu belaka lepas ni. Okay. So kalau tak ada, basically as my parting word, do wait for the very exciting orang kata endeavor ataupun exciting period yang Takaful akan go through. Even orang kata sekarang ni, even when kita start masuk gear 1 pun, things are become interesting already. So for me, 2027, 51% is not impossible. I remember the first day I joined, I jumpa some of the people, and this one Chinese director from Bank Negara, dia kata, Razwan, our expectation to you is very simple. Take Takaful to its rightful place. Even though it come from a Chinese director, I take very, orang kata apa, very strongly ataupun very dearly in terms of what he said lah, basically, because I saw sincerity in what he said. Okay, with that, I end my presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir, for the very valuable information. Ladies and gentlemen, before the highlight of our ceremony, let us welcome our distinguished guest, who is a member of Shariah Committee at Securities Commission Malaysia and was once awarded for the most outstanding individual contribution for Islamic finance in the KLIFF Islamic Finance Awards 2015. Please welcome Professor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Azmi bin Omar to deliver his speech and later to launch the USAS Takaful repository. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Professor Wan Sabri, who went to the toilet just now, Vice Chancellor USAS, Professor Dr. Ahmad Kamil Maidin Mira, Datuk Muhammad Akhir bin Haji Yusuf, Encik Muhammad Radwan bin Muhammad, Encik Maktar, ICFA Council members, lecturers, my colleagues from UUM, lecturers of USAS, students. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And good morning. I see most of you are tawaduk because some of you fell asleep during the talk. And I hope you are wide awake because I have 3 questions that I will ask, and I will be giving money to those who are able to answer the right questions. Okay, so I will talk a bit. Let me just to give you some motivation, you see. I started my career as a banker, lama dah, 79. Some of you were not born. 79, Bank Bumi Putra, you know. So I started my career as a banker, and then I left banking because I wanted to do a PhD. Because a bank tu masa tu doesn't allow a scholarship. Then I joined a university, UIA. I was among the pioneers of UIA, and then after UIA, I went to Islamic Development Bank Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. The first ever Malaysian jadi Director General anak syarikat Islamic Development Bank Jeddah. The first ever Malaysian dalam sejarah IDB until today. And then after that, I was asked to come back by the Governor of Bank Negara to lead INSEF, University INSEF di KL. So I'm still with INSEF, and I should be retiring long ago rather than staying on. But just to give you the motivation to students, so that, at the end of the day, when we study, we work, we need to have the motivation to be successful. And I always tell people that we should not be looking at Malaysia alone as our market. We should be looking beyond Malaysia. Irrespective whether you are a female girl ataupun boys, lelaki, you should think forward. Because Malaysia is well known for our human capital. Let me tell you how GCC countries, maknanya Saudi, Dubai, Kuwait, look at Malaysians. They look at Malaysia ni after the white American, the British. Dari segi salary structure, number 1, Mak Saleh. Mak Saleh is the first category. Tetapi juga how they evaluate, walaupun you are, let's say, an American, tetapi you are originally Pakistani, gaji dia bayar Pakistani, bukan American. Tapi kalau you are white American, you get American salary. Itu di GCC lah. Kedua, Malaysians. That's the thing. Malaysians are highly paid next to the whites because Malaysians are seen to be professional. Tak cakap banyak Malaysia ni. Tak kona-kona. Okay? Very professional. So Malaysians have been doing well, and I've known female, perempuan, or male, lelaki, are doing very well in Middle East. And even to the extent, nurses, I tell you, nurses yang kerja di Saudi, gaji dia orang, tiket dia orang, business class balik twice a year, if they're working in Saudi. Business class, 2 kali setahun. So that shows, the quality that they see from Malaysia. High quality, high professional. So what we want in this particular case also, to give you motivations to that, yes, it's important to study Islamic finance, important to study what we call the Takaful, and to look beyond Malaysia, okay, to work outside Malaysia. Of course, to do that, you need to have experience. So before I start my lecture, I want to ask one question, and I'm going to give, ni I copy my friend lah. Kalau orang kenal, Adi Warman, kenal tak di Indonesia? Okay, Adi Warman ni, a good friend of mine. Dia bila dia bagi lecture, he will give money to those who are able to answer the question correctly. So saya pun tengok students ni tadi tawaduk semua setuju, macam khutbah Jumaat juga, semua tidur. So at least to give you, a life, I'm going to give you money, RM50 to answer siapa yang answer right question. Okay, first question, mudah saja. Okay, student saja, lecturer tak boleh, guest tak boleh. Hanya untuk student. The first question saya nak tanya, before we go to serious matter lah, launching ni. First question saya nak tanya ialah, what are the 5 protections Imam Al-Ghazali talk dalam Maqasid Al-Syariah? Maqasid Al-Syariah ada 5 protection. Apakah 5 itu? Cepat-cepat. Ni mesti dah ajar dalam kelas kan? Prof kami dah ajar dalam kelas kan? The 5 protections yang Imam Ghazali cakap dalam kelas. Dalam itu. Mana ada student angkat tangan please? Okay. Tak boleh guna. Okay. Protection of 5 tu.
Nyawa,
Okay.
keturunan, harta,
Okay.
akal dengan harta kot. Harta dah.
Okay.
Agama.
Okay. Tanya. Dalam juga makasih syariah ada 3 levels of needs. 3 levels of needs dalam makasih syariah. Apa dia 3 levels of needs? Mana tu? Okay.
Darurat, hajiat, tasmiat.
Oh, betul. Okay. Ni kena minta tolong pas. Soalan ketiga nanti later bila towards the end. At least exciting sikit kan. Okay. Let me talk a bit kalau boleh go to the next slide. Can you go to the next slide please? Okay. Just to give you perspective, because Cik Radwan talk about the Malaysian context, I want to give you a bigger picture. The reason sebab mengapa I give you bigger picture sebab saya banyak work overseas dari segi advisory. Saya advise Central Bank dan juga negara tentang Islamic Finance. Saya advise Indonesian government. The very few Malaysian yang boleh advise di Indonesia. Sebab biasanya Malaysia-Indonesia ni ada a bit sensitive sikit. Kalau faham lah. Okay. In fact, just last week pun saya di Central Bank, Bank Indonesia. Saya last 2 weeks, okay, almost every week saya pergi Indonesia. Saya tak ada rumah di Indonesia. Tapi saya go there every week ke Indonesia. For example, last 2 weeks, I was invited by Central Bank Indonesia to have a high-level meeting on Islamic finance architecture. Yang attend meeting, World Bank, IMF, Bank Indonesia. Saya the only one yang bukan non-central banker yang invited to that closed down meeting, including IDB. Because of, my work is more of policy advice kepada government. I also advise Brunei Central Bank as well. So I do a lot of advising, and personally saya worried Malaysia ni sebab kita tidak ada barisan pelapis. Not so much syariah, but more Islamic economists. So I'm worried about that. So we need to develop this pelapis who are strategic thinking. Saya develop juga master plan for Indonesian government, Kazakhstan government, master plan dia panggil ekonomi syariah di Indonesia. I also develop for Kazakhstan government. I also, insyaAllah, early next year, for one of the West African countries on Islamic finance master plan. That's my forte, helping countries to develop Islamic finance. So, given that we see young people macam ni, so we want to push, to motivate, to really work, so that you will be successful one day. You'll be successful one day, because I always tell my staff masa di IDB dulu, that before we sleep, we need to think what we have contributed to the Muslim Ummah. I think that's the thing, very important. Kena look at that perspective. So if you look at, for example, dari segi konteks, the Takaful industry, the growth has been very well. You look at the growth, 16.1% Takaful industry globally. Okay, especially after COVID ni. Very high growth rate. Cuma share Takaful very small, 0.9%. So the question is, how do you, kalau you are advisor to the government, how do you advise central bank, for example, or capital market authorities, how do you increase that ratio, that percentage? Malaysia, bila compare, kalau Indonesia, if you look at Indonesia, Indonesia will always say, we grow our Islamic finance from bottoms up. Maknanya dari bawah, demand from the public, it goes up. Therefore, that's why it is organic growth. Kalau compare to Malaysia, Malaysia ni very high rate, total finance, Islamic banking, for example, about 40%. Tapi kalau if we look at Indonesia, it's only about 10%. Whereas they started in 1993 lagi. So very small percentage. However, walaupun percentage dia rendah 10%, you're talking about 270 million population. bukan 10% of 33 million population. The whole of Jakarta is equivalent to one Malaysia. Just to give you perspective. Population Jakarta siang hari, bukan night time, because they have two population. Daytime population. Apa erti daytime population? Orang luar persekitaran Jakarta datang ke Jakarta bekerja. Daytime population is about 37 million, 30 juta ada di Jakarta siang hari, malam about 30 juta. So kalau you compare, satu Malaysia tu equivalent to satu Jakarta. So although there are 10%, but you're talking about 10% of the 270 million. So kita kena bear that mind lah, that perspective when we talk about Islamic finance di Indonesia. The growth has been great in Malaysia as well as Indonesia. Cuma the growth kalau you compare Malaysia dengan Indonesia, Malaysia we have more top down rather than bottom up. Doesn't mean that bottom up tidak ada. Bottom up ni maknanya rakyat yang minta, top down maknanya regulator negara yang minta. So kita ada dua-dua. However, just to give you perspective, Indonesia under President Jokowi have been very supportive of Islamic finance. So that's why you find the demand for Islamic finance, including Takaful, has been growing. Walaupun percentage dia rendah, but the growth rate has been increasing. That's the good thing about that in the country. Next slide, just quickly. If you look at the negara yang big Takaful market, of course Saudi Arabia. Sebab apa Saudi Arabia? Very simple. Dia captive market. Siapa nak pergi umrah haji sekarang ni wajib beli insurans dia, beli Takaful dia. Dia goyang kaki pun dia dapat customers. So that is different. That's why you find that big market in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, if you talk about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, you cannot even mention Islamic finance. They don't like Islamic finance. The only bank yang ada Islamic banking di Saudi Arabia hanyalah di Mekah dengan Madinah. They make sure that those banks are Islamic banks. Beyond Mekah, Madinah, tidak ada Islamic banks. Only later then they have. So now you see, beginning last year, in Saudi government, central bank is very supportive of Islamic banking and finance. So much so that they have declared they want to be the Islamic finance hub of the world. And they have the money to do that. Cuma they don't have the capacity lah. Maknanya local people tidak ada, they import. So they have yet to develop the local professionals. Okay. And of course Malaysia, walaupun we are number 5, tetapi contribution we are very high. Contribution of Takaful. Next slide. Okay, this one was already shown earlier on. Let me just go to, just to mention there are only 3 Takaful operators. Kita ada Takaful, kita ada Takaful operators. Mana Takaful ni lepas ambil Takaful, kita nak reduce risk further, kita share the risk dengan Takaful. Kalau konvensional dia panggil reinsurance. Let me go next slide quickly. Okay, just to share with you some perspective di sini, kita compare growth of Takaful net contribution 18.1%. So it's increasing. That's a good thing in Malaysia. The demand from the bottom up pun naik. Okay, next slide. This is where I want to spend a bit. We talk about Islamic finance, we talk about Takaful. I think all financial institution products, we have to develop for the country's needs. Kita tidak boleh develop product based on only certain segment. If you look historically, Islamic banking has been for middle class, not so much for the B40 di Malaysia. And mana-mana negara pun, when they first created Islamic banking, it's mainly for the middle class. The M40. M40 nak beli rumah, nak beli kereta, you know, that kind of thing. For investment. But what about for the poor people? That's the question that we need to address. Okay? For the poor people. So in this case, for example, currently in Malaysia, these are the situations that we face. We face economic inequality. When I say economic inequality, what I meant is income inequality, wealth inequality. Pernah dengar tak by the name of, for example, the French economist, Allah, now lupa dah. Okay, lupa dah. He is an economist, now I dah lupa, who wrote about that inequality is very high from No, the French economy wrote a very thick book in equality tu. Apa nama dah? Tak apalah. I mean, but inequality is a big issue di Malaysia. Kalau kita lihat due COVID, sebabnya COVID, the M40 sudah, banyakkan M40 sudah jatuh kepada B40. Tahu B40 apa makna? Kan? M40 makna M40 kelas menengah 40%. B40 kelas bawah 40%. Jadi beberapa percentage yang M40 sudah jatuh kepada B40 disebabkan masalah ekonomi. Okay, during COVID, tak ada kerja, dibuang kerja dan sebagainya, so jatuh ke tahap itu. Jadi soalannya ialah bagaimana kerajaan harus develop policy untuk menaikkan kembali from B40 kepada M40. So soalannya, ada tak produk-produk yang kita boleh menolong golongan B40? Itu soalan. Kita tak boleh fikir dari segi buat produk hanya untuk middle class. Okay? And that to me will be a failure kalau kita fokus saja untuk middle class. But unfortunately today, sama juga Islamic Bank pun, I wouldn't say is successful in addressing middle class. Sama juga Takaful, hanya very limited produk yang kita ada, kita panggil micro Takaful. Even micro Takaful kat Malaysia pun masih lagi kecil. Okay, as compared to some other countries, compared di Indonesia contohnya. So those are produk yang kita kena fikir to address the problems faced in Malaysia. Secondly, selain pada wealth inequality, cost of living. Harga barang naik. So how do we address that? Can we develop alternative products, simple products for the poor? Subsidy rationalization. Satulah Malaysia ni, saya bagi satu contoh. Tahun lepas, awal tahun lepas, Deputy Governor Bank Indonesia, my friend, tanya saya, Pak Azmi, I want my son to study Islamic finance. Where should I send? Dan saya cakap ke dia, of course lah, INSEAF datang. So dia pun hantar anak dia. Anak dia pula kira GM of one fintech firm di Indonesia. So anak dia pun duduklah KL, sewa apartment. Anak dia cakap ke saya, depan bapak dia, oh Pak Azmi, benzin di Malaysia memang murah sekali. minyak kereta kan, dia panggil sana benzin. Murah daripada Indonesia, harga minyak di Malaysia. Dia kata dia sewa kereta, dia berjalan satu Malaysia sebelum start kelas. Sebab minyak murah. Indonesia minyak mahal. Why? Sebab kita subsidi terlampau tinggi. So duit kerajaan banyak fokus kepada subsidi and mainly kepada T20. So again, we need to address that part. How do we address targeted subsidies? Can we develop products? Bukan saja Takaful, I'm talking about in general. You know, so those are issues that we need to think about. Food security. Agriculture crops, kita tak very limited. Kita talk about beras pun tak cukup, bahan asas makanan pun tak cukup, but do we have Takaful products for that? Tidak ada, apart from floods. So, products yang kita ada tidak synchronized dengan the requirement of the country. So again, thinking about all these things. So, saya purposely buat ini supaya saya nak challenge students untuk fikir, you know, macam mana kita boleh solve masalah. Bukan setakat belajar saja and then kita panggil ivory tower. Apa dalam bahasa Melayu? Ivory tower? Menara gading. Sebab itu arwah Prof. Kamal Hassan, Rektor UIA dulu, dia tidak panggil universiti itu menara gading. Dia panggil dia Taman Ilmu dan Budi. Dan bagi saya that is a very right name. Universiti sebagai nak develop orang yang berilmu dan berbudi. Provide solution to the country. So kalau menara gading saja tak jadilah. You shock sendiri saja. You cannot solve the problem of the society. So kita kena fikir, as part of your work, think about the solution. You know, we cannot think that sebab kita belajar universiti hanya pass periksa saja. Tidak boleh. Sebab kalau you good in, let me tell you, saya ingat dulu masa saya dekan UIA dulu, ada graduate UIA accounting first class. Kita tak ambil jadi lecturer. Sebab walaupun very good result, tak boleh perform. Kita panggil bookworm. Pandai saja, tapi tak boleh go beyond apa yang kita nak. Problem solving, somebody yang kita kata keterampilan yang baik sekali. So maknanya you have to go beyond apa yang you belajar dalam kelas. Think about the solution. Bagaimana nak think about the problem and the solution. Itu penting sekali. Okay. Poverty, foreign workers pun jadi isu. We have large number of foreign workers. You know, kawan-kawan saya yang Syariah Committee, yang involved dalam remittance company, they make a lot of money, Syariah Committee. Remittance company, one remittance company, per year, 2 bilion ringgit hantar to Bangladesh. Just think about the amount of money duit Malaysia keluar. So sebab tu Malaysia jatuh, duit Malaysia jatuh. The demand for foreign currency has increased because kita ada banyak legal dengan illegal foreign workers. Okay? Related to foreign workers is also the issue of what we call solution to refugees. Masa saya di IDB dulu, saya work dengan United Nations untuk develop program dipanggil World Humanitarian Summit. Yang itu Perak ada saham. Tuanku Sultan Nazrin launch that di Istanbul, World Humanitarian Summit. So I was part from the IDB to support that program. Solution, apakah solution yang kita boleh bagi untuk refugees? Sebab kita tahu 85% refugees are Muslims. So what is the solution that we can develop? So I leave it to you, I ask question and then you fikirlah basically. Okay. And then finally, of course, progressive wage. So those are the issues. Jadi sebelum saya tutup, saya ada lagi satu soalan, ya, okay? Di Indonesia, dia menggunakan satu akronim untuk Islamic Social Finance. ZISWAF. Pernah dengar? ZISWAF. Okay. Tak pernah dengar? Indonesia ni dia suka menggunakan akronim. Contohnya satu lagi, kita dalam finance kita tidak mau Maghrib. Dia kata, kita tidak mau Maghrib dalam finance. Apa itu Maghrib? Maisir, riba, gharar. Maghrib. Itu maknanya. So orang kata apa? Tak nak sembahyang Maghrib kan tidak? So we did not want to be involved in Maghrib, dia kata. So maisir, riba, gharar dan riba. Maghrib. So dia juga saya banyak di Indonesia sebab saya work there closely. Satu term dia selalu guna ialah kita harus dalam bahasa Indonesia lain dengan harus bahasa Melayu. Harus bahasa Indonesia itu wajib. Harus bahasa Melayu kita ialah harus tu buat okey, tak buat apa tak apa kan. Indonesia harus tu makna you have to do it. Wajib buat. Okey. So Indonesia kita harus menggunakan ataupun implementasi ZISWAF. ZISWAF. Siapa boleh jawab RM50 ni? Ini soalan susah. Ya, yeah, okey. Yes, ZISWAF apa dia tu? Okey. Wakaf. Ya, yeah, betul. Zakat, okey, zakat, infak, sedekah, apa lagi? Wakaf. Okay, good. Okay. Itu dia guna. So dia banyak guna akronim. Okay. The most current popular term di Indonesia sekarang cawapres. The most popular term, CAWAPRES. Sekarang ni very hot sekarang ni. Cawapres. Calon wakil presiden. Sebab apa? Salah satu pada calon wakil presiden ialah Gibran. Kalau you tak tahulah siapa. Gibran Jokowi. Jadi isu sedikit. Cawapres. I tell you the truth, in 2008 saya dijemput oleh Intan ada training center untuk PTD 2008 dulu untuk bagi training. I have been going to Indonesia since 1998 to different parts of Indonesia. Every year saya akan spend 2-3 minggu di Indonesia, different parts. So saya tak perasan bahasa training yang saya diminta diberi oleh Intan itu, saya ingat untuk confirm PTD officer. Rupanya untuk confirm JUSA dengan ketua pengarah TKSU SU. Jadi in my speech back then 2008 saya sudah cakap mungkin 20 tahun lagi Malaysia akan pergi ke Indonesia bekerja sebagai maid, saya kata. Dia kata, Prof, saya tak percaya. Indonesia korup apa semua. But you look at Indonesia today, if you are familiar, and see the development, far exceed Malaysia. Far exceed Malaysia in Islamic finance, in economics. And Indonesia, they have a better linkage antara finance dengan Islamic economy. As opposed to us, kita hanya fokus very much Islamic finance, tidak much on Islamic economy. Only now, I think if we look the recent budget 2024, government talks about Islamic economy. And to me, that's the right direction. We need to go beyond. So again, I would suggest also to USAS to go beyond finance, to look at Islamic economy. And I spoke to Prof. Dato' Wan just now. See, when I was in Indonesia last week, the central bank asked me, and before that, the MOF asked me, do we have Islamic economists who are able to provide policy advice? No, policy advice. We want to develop policies, Islamic economic policies, bukan conventional policies. Do we have that? Dia tanya. Saya mengganggu pada nak jawab. Kita pun buat mistake because kita focus on Islamic finance and we forgot about Islamic economics. We do not want, for example, socialists or leftists to provide policy to the government. We also want Islamic economists, but we do not have. So again, I would urge you, some of you after first degree, do masters and do PhD in economics, and that don't blend together with Islamic economics. So really, to make Malaysia a center for Islamic economics, to me, that's very important. So lastly, to next slide, to end up, you see, if you look at this repository, one important component when we talk about policy making is data. Data, First thing you want to develop policy, kena ada very good data. Repository is the solution to that data. Cuma we need to get beyond journal article, beyond research. We need to have data on Takaful. Takaful data, participants data, I'm not sure whether MTA boleh share lah. Or Bank Negara, for example, some data. Data is very important. But without the right data, we cannot make policy recommendation. We can teach, boleh. Cuma policy recommendation, we can't do that. So to me, the one-stop center is very good. It's the initial step, collecting all the information, both in Malaysia and abroad, tetapi data too very important. So we need to have that data. Secondly, of course, it's open access, and that's how the world is now. I'll give you an example. I will not talk about Islamic Development Bank. Dia tak berapa bagus lagi, I would say data. If you go to Asian Development Bank website, you click on one country, a member of Asian Development Bank, click saja in that country, siapa officer in charge dia, how much they have given, what projects they have financed. Very detailed, open access data. We need to do that. We need to do that. So if we can, open access, knowledge sharing, and that's part of the transparency that we're talking about. We talk about Islam transparency, tapi kita sendiri tak buat. So that's very important. Research visibility, USAS will be doing this, others will be doing that. So at the end of the day, we are creating not only for USAS, but also for Malaysia, to continue to be the leader. I think that's a very important strategy that we need to do. And to do that, collaboration. Lecturers dengan lecturers, student dengan student from other universities, student dengan lecturers from other universities. Collaboration is the key thing. And when I did when I was in IDB pun sama juga, we did collaborate. We do a lot we bring. And the term in IDB, dia panggil reverse linkage. That's a technical term, reverse linkage. What is reverse linkage? You ambil negara yang tahu in certain area, you bring that to another country which needs help. Okay, that's a reverse linkage program. For example, now we are working dekat INSEAD tu dengan IDB untuk one country on a reverse linkage program. So samalah, that networking. Mardi pernah provide similar program to Nigeria on paddy farming. Okay, so that's part. Okay, and then the good thing now, digitalization. Digitalization, we are all now into digital. Nak bayar pun digital compared to before, but digitalization has its risks. So when I was in Jakarta, the meeting that was called by the Central Bank Jakarta dengan World Bank IMF, although we talk about Islamic finance architecture, the focus was on digitalization and what are the risks associated with digitalization. And finally, which we did not have time to discuss further, was if you bring your digital everything into the cloud, what are the risks involved? So that's another perspective within the Islamic finance sphere. And finally, the good thing is I have to congratulate Prof. Wan Sabri, Datuk Wan Sabri, and the team from USAS for being able to create this, and this helps the branding for the university, but also for Malaysia. Because because to me, I'm always passionate about maintaining the Malaysian leadership. And that's the worrying part, maintaining the Malaysian leadership. So we need to continue, and we need to get younger people. Orang macam saya ni on the sunset lah. You know, so we need to get the younger people to take over. Itulah, my staff and my driver. Saya the last few weeks, bagi contohnya, saya balik pukul 10 malam from one place, one country, pukul 10 malam. Pukul 4 pagi the next day tu, saya keluar rumah balik, pergi airport. From pukul 10 malam sampai rumah, from the airport, pukul 4 pagi, balik rumah packing, tukar bag, tidur sekejap, pukul 4 pagi keluar rumah, terbang lagi another country. And this is happening to me for the last 5 weeks, traveling in and out. You know, so, but the worry is that we need to get younger people. So we want to encourage you to really be serious in your study, get yourself equipped, and take over us. You know, take over what we have been doing. And that's what, and the role of the lecturers here also, you know, practitioners included, they want to see you to be successful. You know, successful to take their positions later on. Because we are not going to stay forever. All of us will be, you know, because even for me, I have overstayed already my position. I've been trying to get people to replace me. Because we need to do that. And we need to see Malaysians to go abroad. Okay, so you need to carry the Malaysian flag overseas. Okay. So to this, I have to congratulate the university, the leadership of Prof. Datuk Dr. Wan, a dear friend for a long time, Prof. Kamil as well, a long friend. And with this, with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I inaugurate the USAS Takaful repository. Thank you. Thank you. Ada itu kan? Oh, duduk.
Thank you, Professor, for launching the USAS Takaful repository. For our next session, I would like to invite our guests together with USAS representatives for the MOU signing session. First, the MOU signing between USAS and ICF. Next, the MOU signing between USAS and INSEF University. And lastly, the MOU signing between USAS and ASAS. I would like to invite again Professor Datuk Dr. Wan Sabri together with Professor Datuk Dr. Ahmed Kamil to present souvenir to Mr. Muhammad Razwan bin Muhammad. Attention students, can you move to the center of the seating arrangements? As the saying goes, to every beginning there is always an ending. Therefore, our ceremony has come to its end. Once again, thank you everyone for gracing our ceremony with your presence, which we truly appreciated. On behalf of the organizing committees, I would like to apologize for any shortcomings throughout the event. As master of this ceremony, I end our today's event with Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a nice day. Attention to attendees, if you please scan the QR code in front of you. for feedbacks and registration. Thank you. Attendees, please scan the QR code for feedbacks on the ceremony. Thank you.